as possible so that it hears me. Okay? All right, so you guys all made an attempt at creating this entryway. And the three ways that you did were the giant whale's mouth, right, facing out at the big opening facing out at the parking lot, right? You did one was subtraction. You did another one that was, kind of an addition of a small sort of an eyebrow that could create entry. But you guys did that just formally looking at the site and where the parking is. The one thing that you guys did not take into consideration is what goes on inside the building. How does a person's path from the parking lot through the entrance, right, and the things that have to take place in the building before you get to the buses take place? So what we're going to do today is we're going to kind of create a diagram here, okay, and it's going to be just a linear sequential diagram of the process of going to a bus terminal to travel by bus, okay? So step one, what's the very first thing that you have to do if you're going to travel by bus? Say you're here. So now you're going to go to the bus terminal over in Anaheim right now. So what do you got to do? Got to get there, right? So step one is get to the terminal. And let's just go ahead. So our two options there is to get dropped off or park, right? So that's step one, okay? So now you've parked your car, now what? Got to find the entrance, right? So step two, find the entrance or go to the entrance. Step two, go to entrance. All right. Now, most of you have gone into lots of buildings, and so you guys have come in entrances. Almost all of you have gone to an airport, right? So if we were flying by plane, would we just walk in the entrance and then go over and get on the airplane? No? What do you have to do? Right after you come in the entrance to the airport, what do? You check in, right? Or is it possible you might get there and actually get a ticket? Some people could walk in and just say, hey, I want a flight out of here, anywhere, right? So step three, check in or buy ticket. All right, good. Now, here's a question for you. What do you think if you just bypass buying a ticket and checking in and go straight to the waiting area for your plane? What's going to happen? Say that again?
Security will stop you.
What do you guys, anybody else? Any other thoughts? Paula, what do you think? So I got to the airport or I got to the bus terminal. I said, I don't want to buy a ticket. I'm just going to go wait for the airplane or for the bus.
You won't be able to get on a bus?
No, because there's a security checkpoint, right? So that's what Pat said. He says security will stop you. You're not allowed to go right to the waiting area unless you have a ticket. You have to stay on the other side. Okay? And so one of the things that you guys got to know is that this point right here becomes a gateway. I'm going to draw the gateway kind of like that, right? So this check-in part becomes a gateway. When you are on one side of that gateway line, right, you are an unticketed passenger. And there's a barrier that you can't get past until you get a ticket. All right? Now you guys designed all the way to here, right? You guys thought about the parking area, and you thought about making an entrance for your building, right? But you guys didn't think about the ticket booth, right? Okay, so there's a ticket booth that's going to happen inside of this building, and that ticket booth has to be in such a place that it creates a security division between a portion of the building and another, and the waiting area of the building. Just like at an airport, right? There's going to be somebody standing there to verify that you have a ticket. Or if, for example, have you guys ever ridden the subways anywhere? At the subways, you have to have a ticket. There's these turnstiles, and you walk up, and you stick your ticket in, and that's what lets you go through the turnstile. Otherwise, you can't get through the turnstile. They got cameras. If you try to jump, cops are going to come and jump you, right? So this is a point at which you can't go past if you don't have a ticket. The design of the building needs to reflect that. So somewhere near the entrance to your building, you have to have a place where you can buy tickets. Okay, so now we got there, we bought tickets, right? We're good to go. We go through, we take our ticket and we push it into a little turnstile. The turnstile lets us walk through. Now we're on the other side. Now we're ticketed passengers, right? Now what? What typically happens for those of you that have traveled by bus or airplane? What do you do right when you get on the other side of security, other than put your shoes on?
Sit in the waiting area.
Do you go straight to the waiting area and straight on the plane? Do any of you ever, like, maybe go to the bathroom? I know I usually do, because I don't want to go to the bathroom on the airplane if I can avoid it. And there's always like long lines because they're always overpacking airplanes. Buses are worse than airplanes as far as bathrooms. The airplane, you might occasionally get turbulence. There could occasionally be reasons why there would be something not where it's supposed to be. But buses, those things are bounce, 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 bounce all the time. I've been on a couple of buses in Mexico where it's like, I didn't even want to sit near the bathroom because, oh my God, the further back you got on the bus, it just smelled really bad. So, okay, so, so the next step is going to be, let's call it amenities or services. So there's going to be probably bathrooms, and those are in your program, right? And there's probably going to be like some sort of a food vending, like snack vending.
Coffee stand.
Yeah, maybe coffee. Probably come out of a machine at one of these places. And then potentially there could be a newsstand or a place where they sell newspapers. Okay? All right, and so all of that stuff usually sits next to the thing that you guys said is what you do as soon as you go through security, which was to sit and wait, right? Yes? Okay. So then what's that called?
Terminal.
Waiting room? Or waiting area? Right. Now in looking at your program, you guys have 2 waiting areas, don't you? If you look at your project prompt, do you have 1 waiting area or 2? What's the distinction between the 2 of them?
One's inside and one's outside.
That's right. There's an indoor waiting area and an outdoor waiting area. Chances are that at the indoor waiting area, if it's here in California, you won't be smoking. And you won't have to put up with somebody smoking. But if you're outside, you might end up with a smoking area. Okay? Let me ask you all this. Those of you that have gone to airports, do you usually sit like really far away from the gate that you're going to use to get to the airplane? You usually sit real close to it. You can usually see the plane pull up, huh? Right? And the same thing with buses. Usually the waiting area has a visual connection to where the buses pull in. Okay? So this has, I'm actually going to erase that.
10 minutes.
Okay, indoor outdoor. All right, and so then there is visual connection, 2 buses. All right. So the last thing that you're going to do is you're going to go past the door to the buses, right? And you're going to load your luggage, go to bus. Okay? Go to bus, load luggage, get seat. All right, go ahead and stop it.